Terence Bud Crawford with the Diva Demands holding up a fight that he may want. This, according to the promoter of Sebastian Fundura. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back. In this video, we're going to be in the 154-pound division where we have some additional information coming from a promoter that is closely associated with the PBC, a promoter in Samson Leskovich who promotes both David Benavidez at 168 pounds. He also promotes Sebastian Fundora, who is the WBO and the WBC junior middleweight champion of the world, who recently got those belts off of Tim Tszyu when he defeated him in Las Vegas in a very, very bloody affair, but one where unfortunately, an injury to Tim Tszyu affected the outcome. At least that's what I believe. And Sebastian Fundora, taking nothing away from him, did what he needed to do to get out of there with the win. And now he is the champion. Now, he says that, obviously there's a question about who he's going to fight next. He was ordered to start negotiations with Terence Crawford. And Terence Crawford had been named the WBA super champion a few years ago, maybe 5 or 6 years ago, when he became undisputed at 140 pounds. As a result, he is able to go up and move to 147 pounds and immediately become the mandatory challenger for Jeff Horn. And then after he did that and he became undisputed at 147 by beating Errol Spence, he became the undisputed champion at 147. And now he's able to go up and do the same thing at 154. Unfortunately for him, the fighters that are there are all with the PBC. And the guy with the WBO this time is with the PBC. And there are some roadblocks, obviously, to that fight taking place. Samson Leskovich spoke out and said that they are going to go to the WBO because Sebastian Fundora has a broken nose. So he has to have surgery on his broken nose. And it's going to take at least 5 months in order for him to have the surgery and for that to heal. And then after that, he is going to obviously need to get back in training, and he won't be able to fight until the end of the year. And even then, they are going to petition to the WBO to allow Sebastian Fundora to rematch Tim Tszyu because Samson Leskovich feels that he had promised a rematch to Tim Tszyu if Tim Tszyu had lost, and they want to keep their word in that regard. Now, there's also obviously the PBC that has something to say about that as well. However, in this conversation, Tim Tszyu's promoter, Samson Leskovich, said and mentioned a problem with why they don't think the fight with Terence Crawford is going to happen. And what they said was that Terence Crawford wants a bunch of money for the fight, and he wants to be co-promoter on the fight because he's a free agent. And they said that is never going to happen. So it's not just the fact that they have a bigger money fight from Errol Spence Jr. that may be available to them, or that Tim Tszyu, they want to give a rematch to Tim Tszyu, because I think there are two minds when it comes to that. At least, that's what it looks like to me. And by the way, Samson Leskovich, I think he has a lot of say-so in it because, he may be able to put money up. Samson Leskovich is a very, is a very powerful and very successful promoter in the sport. And I think he, along with Tom Brown, are really the two guys that do a lot of the promotions for the PBC. He may be able to put money up for that fight. But Terence Crawford being a co-promoter, Samson Leskovich is going to say no to that. And that is a significant source of income for Terence Crawford. But because in order to become the promoter, I suspect that you got to put some money up. Not quite sure of the inner workings of that one, but that is something that those guys say they're not willing to do. So it's not just that the PBC, he's not signed to the PBC. It's that he actually wants a lot of money for the fight, and he wants to be a co-promoter on the fight. And that's not going to happen, according to Samson Leskovich. So, I don't think that Terence Crawford is in the position that I've already done a bunch of videos about this. I don't think Terence Crawford is in the position that Terence Crawford thinks he is vis-a-vis the PBC or other fighters that are there. And I know that is something that a lot of people don't like to hear. They don't like to hear about the business of boxing. They don't want to hear about the politics associated with boxing. In many cases, unless it involves, the reason why their fighter doesn't want to do something. But these things are just real out there in the world. If you are a free agent, if you are a 1099 employee, hey, people are going to give the work to their regular employees first because they already have to pay them. They already have obligations to them. And they don't have to work with you. So if you don't make it a situation that's exceptionally inviting for them, then, hey, man, those guys aren't going to want to deal with you, and they don't have to deal with you. And we can rely on and say, hey, man, we want boxing to be different than it is. We just want to see, the fighter that I think is the best fight the other fighter that I think is the best. And I just want these guys to make these matchups. I mean, that would be a great world to live in, but that's not a world we live in anywhere. I would love for my favorite, for my Bulls to get Steph Curry to sign with them, right? I would love for them. I would love Steph Curry to go over there. I'd love to just transpose teams between, the Golden State Warriors and the Chicago Bulls. Give me a couple extra guys. Give me Ant, whoever that dude that looks kind of like Michael Jordan jumping over people's heads. I would love to take him and put him over there. But unfortunately, it doesn't. My wishes don't make the world operate the way that I want it to operate. Terence Crawford, I think, had a very good thing with Top Rank for a long time, where he was able to work with Bob Arum and make a lot of money and big guarantees for fights that didn't sell. And as a result, hey, man, he had or didn't sell or didn't make profit. I mean, maybe some of them sold, but didn't make the profit that Bob Arum thought that he should make or wanted to make. So now, and then he went into a fight with Errol Spence Jr., and I believe the same thing probably happened there, where they felt like, hey, man, there was no need to take this risk with him because we got what we thought we were going to get, but what we got was not, it wasn't all that. It wasn't as big as a Canelo Alvarez versus David Benavidez, not David Benavidez, Canelo Alvarez versus Caleb Plant fight. So, I mean, what was the big whoop-de-doo? So they may not want to do it. And so to ask for things like becoming, being a co-promoter and being a co-promoter, which I assume means you also want to put fighters of yours that may be signed to you on the undercard and make money off the undercard on a Samson Leskovich card. Nah, man, it's probably not going to happen, man. But anyway, that's my take on the matter. Just want to let you know what Samson Leskovich said. Diva-ish, maybe not. Maybe that's a bit of a strong word there, but just not in that position. Doesn't have the relationship, doesn't have the sense of loyalty from, Terence Crawford said he was loyal to the WBO, and the WBO was staying loyal to him. You not loyal to the PBC. Yeah, the PBC ain't got to stay loyal to you. Anyway, that's my take on the matter. Please let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Deuces.